Welcome to Logistical Lies, where we expose the truth in the trucking industry. I'm your host, Miranda Johnson. Join me as we navigate the challenges of balancing love, relationships, mental health, and finances as we reach our goals. This podcast is for men and women alike. Get ready to break barriers and thrive. Let's uncover the lies of the industry and the ones we tell ourselves so we can pave a path to success. Thanks for joining Logistical Lies with Miranda J. Let's go. Welcome back to Logistical Lies by Miranda J. We are here again. I told you last week I was going to make it back, and I am, and I'm ready. So get ready to see a lot of me and a lot more that I have coming. A Logistical Lies course will be out in just about a week. So I am so ready for you guys to see that. And for those who don't know me, again, my name is Miranda J. I have a trucking company and I'm worked in the transportation industry for over 12 years. And a lot of my experience and a lot of my conversation comes from what it was like being a woman in a very male-dominated industry and how I balance, being a mom, being a wife, just dealing with a lot of different adversities at the same time and just coming through it mentally, financially, in all different types of ways. And since then, I shut my trucking company down and I put a lot of my effort into actually creating driver solutions. And Logistical Lies is just one of those solutions that offers a course for people to be able to say, how can I get into this industry without losing everything? Like, what are some real key ways for me to win in logistics? Now, all of my topics, of course, are not all about trucking. There are times where I feel like it's a good time for that. Right now, I feel like we're in the season of your mindset. And especially for so many people who have lost a considerable amount of money, it has not been an easy year for the trucking industry. And I feel like it doesn't matter about us bouncing back. It's about your mindset right now. So when the bounce back comes, a lot of the mistakes that happen, we don't do it again. And I'm shifting in my chair over here. I got my legs stuck. But it really comes down to, what's going on in your mind. And their envy tends to come during this time because we feel like someone else is doing okay while we're really struggling. I've seen a couple TikTok videos of women in this industry who have had to completely shut down without choice, being able to not pay people, which is terrible. So, there's a lot of hurt, right? And I feel like if we don't adjust and start talking about what's going on mentally, we're just going to keep repeating the same habits. And especially in the minority community, I feel like we tend to always be wanting everything to go perfectly and not self-examine. My last video was about self-examination. This one is going to be about that comparison. And the truth is, and I'll say it, you don't need a better house, a better car, a better partner, a better mama or daddy. You need a better mindset. Now, there are some that say, but, yeah, I heard all the buts. We all can lay out our problems. And we all could. We could sit for hours and people could tell you all the terrible things that have happened to them in life. And we could talk about how some of us had access to therapy and others didn't. We can say that, we can lay it all out. There comes a point where now we have to take ownership. And what are we going to do now? And that's not always easy when you're in that comparison thinking, because you want to have someone else to blame. What happens when there's no one else to blame? What happens when you just have to look at you? And that's it. You are it. And I just want to start off by telling, a story. And I told this story the other day, and I think my friend probably was like, Miranda and her parables. I'm so tired of her. But I listened to so much stuff that, as far as I like podcasts, I love motivational speakers, and The thing is, okay, I love motivational speakers, but I don't like self-care books. I just don't like, I don't know what it is. I like to listen. I like to feel like it's vibrating through my body. But I definitely like to listen, like old monks and stuff tell their parables, and how they tell these stories. I don't know. I think it's cool. But so I'm going to tell one, and you don't have to like it. If you want to skip past my parable, that's fine. But I listened to this story about the frog, and it talks about the dynamics of a frog and how a frog's behavior is. And I think this is relevant for more than just the frog, but this is the story. Okay. It talks about if you were to take a frog and put him in hot, boiling water. The frog first of all, as soon as he sees the boiling water is hot, he's going to try to jump right out of there. He's going to get to the water. He's going to jump out because the water's too hot. He cannot go in. The water's too hot. But if you take the same frog in lukewarm water and you sit him in there, the frog will sit comfortably. You continue to rise the temperature, the frog will continue very comfortably. Even as the water begins to get incredibly hot and even to boil, the frog will sit and eventually die. Why? Because the frog has now gotten comfortable in its surroundings and where it's at, and it does not see a reason to leave or change anything until it is no longer there anymore. Many of us are just like the frog. We blame our singleness, our relationships, everything for why we have not moved yet. And the truth of the matter is, even with all the signs around us, we didn't move simply because we didn't want to, and we were comfortable. You're comfortable. Just tell your truth. You're comfortable knowing that, and I'm going to speak to some of the ladies, not all. You're comfortable knowing that that man's paying those bills. And for you to go do it now puts the weight on you. You're comfortable knowing that you can tell everybody that my kid has a mama and a daddy in this household. So I don't want to leave this man, because if I leave, now everybody knows our home was not good. You're comfortable being in a situation that says, you know what? I don't really need to start that business because, my friend told me that her friend told her and this friend told her that that one started a very similar business of mine and it failed. So I need to stay away from that. You have made every excuse in the book, but a reason to just start. You're comfortable. You've got yourself in a situation where you are now attacking those who are doing what you really want to do. You really want to be happy. You really want to lose that weight. But then you'll tell yourself, well, my friend who lost that weight that one time, girl, she got too skinny. You are now just finding anything. And men as well, you have told yourself that, you know what? I don't want these women, these independent women. They're too independent for me. So I don't want that, anybody with that masculine energy. So I'm going to hold back on even trying to deal with these women because I don't want to be in that situation. When the truth really is, you're scared. You're scared. What independence shouldn't scare you, but it does. It doesn't harm you, but it scares you. It's the mindset. See, we've listened to these things over and over and over again that we've created like a negative narrative around it. And we didn't like separate them and put them in like categories that make them make sense, right? And we have that bowl mentality where if it's, as long as you're sitting in that bowl, whatever in that bowl will exist. Anything outside that bowl is kind of like not real. You're sitting in there and you're trying to adjust to the bowl. Some of y'all don't fit in. Well, most of us don't fit in that. And we need to come outside of that thinking. But instead of doing that, we just absorb. There's water in it. We're like a sponge. We just absorb it all. Negative or not, we just absorb it. Hurting us or not, we absorb it. We take it from relationship to relationship to relationship. We treat our kids, and then oh gosh, the worst. Then we teach our kids. We tell our kids, boy, don't get married. Watch out for them girls. Watch out for them boys. We give them a fear mentality on love. Now, I have 5 daughters. I am not telling you that I don't give my daughters caution. Fear and caution are very different. I remember a while back, and I don't know if this young lady remembers this or not, but I was married twice. Oh, sorry, I'm still married. My first marriage was in 98. Jeez, 98, 99, I was 19. And I was married for about 6-7 years. And I got a divorce, and then I was single from like 2007 to 2011. And before that, I was a single mom. So I experienced being a single mom twice, and for those 4 years, I did it by myself. I had no choice. And then I got remarried. And when I got remarried, I think around this time was just now more on social media than I used to be. And I feel like people didn't know the Miranda, because I want to say Facebook, I think I got on Facebook around 2010. So during the time that I was single and raising my kids by myself, there wasn't really a social media presence. I wasn't on MySpace. I wasn't anywhere else. So most people didn't know what my journey looked like. I wasn't, putting my journey out there unless you knew me personally. I think I met this young lady around 2011, 2012 after, I had gotten married. And I can't remember what the topic was about, but I do remember her telling me that my life was easier because I was married. How about that? All my married people, who feels like life is easier? I'm pretty sure they don't. And I go, huh? She started to tell me how being a single mom, what it feels like, what it looks like. And I'm like, girl, been there, done that. I know what it is to be a single mom. And nobody's bragging about either one. I'm just telling you that there's high and lows in both. It's not easier. I'm going to be very honest with you. Majority of people in a 2-person household, even raising children, usually it's one-sided. That's just the truth. Do you have areas where it's balanced and it's beautiful? Yes. That just does not come out the box. And sometimes you'll have it in the children where it's balanced and beautiful, and then in the work area, it's not. You may have it in the cleaning, it's not. So there's different areas where it's never 50-50. I don't know any relationships that are always 50-50 year round. Like it is generally, there's times where one person is 20, another one's 80, one person's 100, somebody's 0, so one person then sometimes you have that awkward moment where you are 50-50, but have somebody get sick, have something happen. It only takes a little bit and you don't feel like 50-50. And I remember me thinking to myself is her issue is not with me and my husband. Her issue is in her mind, because she's told herself that whatever inadequacy, whatever she's not doing right as a mom, financially, or in any area of her life, she doesn't understand it's in her mind. That's just the truth. Because she's already decided it is harder. And then someone else may have already decided it's easier when they get married. And then they find out, oh no, because that's a mindset issue. Or, oh, when I buy a house, It's going to make my life so much easier. So all the homeowners, how many of us know that owning a house is like owning a small child? Okay, like you are constantly nurturing and having to care for it. I know so many homeowners that sometimes be like, God, I wish I was still renting. And then, there's no good or bad in either one. It's all about what you decide to do with your life and what makes you happy, what gives you something to be gracious and have gratitude for. But the point is that your mind will create these stories around what's happening to you. We have, unfortunately, a terrible dynamic right now where, and it's happening on both sides, so I want to be fair. I've seen women have done this to men, and now I'm seeing men doing it a lot to women, and it's just a very terrible time that we are just hurting one another because we're bringing in our pain from past relationships, or from high school. And I'm hearing a lot of men say things that are so negative, that they're bringing in trauma from high school incidents because the girl back then didn't want to date them. And can I just say, so I was a tomboy in high school. No, I didn't get approached a lot. I really didn't. And when I did, it was usually by the guy that was not very respectful, would say, just point out my features, what's up with your big booty? What's up with it was never endearing. And so I got approached, but not in a way that I felt like, oh, this person really likes me. And then when I would find out later, like 20, 30 years later, I would get all these messages like, oh, I had a crush on you. I'm like, hello? Why didn't you tell me in high school? And I didn't feel like I was ugly in high school, but I definitely know that a lot of the guys that are complaining right now about being rejected or feeling rejected in high school also were the guys that approached me in high school or ever tried to talk to me in high school. They actually used to try to talk to my more popular friends and the girl who was doing gymnastics, the girls who were cheerleading, or the girls who were more promiscuous than I was. So, it's kind of like we all got to be a little fair to each other. I feel like we have gotten to a point where we got to heal a lot and get out of this thinking of, if this didn't happen to me, then I would be like this. The fact that it didn't happen to you, you should use that to create a new you so that you can come with a better mindset so we can teach the next generation how to do it better and how to level up. But we're so stuck in this old way of thinking and this nasty, nasty attitude that we can't get past ourselves. Imagine sitting in your entire life thinking that if you just had a better car, a better house, a better mom, a better dad, that your life would be better. Just to find out that there's people with all those elements that are sadder than you. And you can't even understand why. I have a very loving mom. I adore my mom. I really, really do. And I'm grateful that I have a loving mom. And I have met people who did not have a mom in their life that simply had more gratitude than me because they understood it better. They understood sometimes in loss, you appreciate the smallest things. But when you have so much, you don't even recognize what you have. I hear women who are almost ashamed of their children. Well, I got 3 kids. Who's going to want me? Your 3 kids that love you and adore you. You birthed 3 children. How many women right now are sad because they can't birth 1? And you don't even want to introduce these 3 beautiful blessings to somebody? So you're not grateful in what you have. You would rather take that negative mindset because somebody told you that you're not worthy. And let me tell you, that's a lie, okay? It is a lie. Now, you may not attract the man who does not want those kids. Are you supposed to? Why the hell would you attract somebody who don't want your kids? You're supposed to attract who does want you and those beautiful children. Duh. Why are you forcing what should not be? If you are, whatever you want or whatever you're speaking is what you're going to get. But if you're going into a situation already looking sad, I wouldn't want you either. Can I just be honest? If you're in a situation and you've already decided, my child is misbehaving because they don't have a dad, right? What you're saying is, I'm accepting this behavior because I did not provide him with a father figure, or his father figure walked out, whatever the situation is. So everything that they're doing has nothing to do with my household, has nothing to do with what I put in there. It's just simply because they don't have a dad. Now, how crazy does that sound? That's your house. That's your environment. You created it. So if a man comes around and says, I don't want to be around that, it has nothing to do with him not wanting to be with a single mom. He doesn't want to be in mess. And same thing goes for the woman. If a woman comes around and she says, hey, I don't want to be a part of that mess, it has nothing to do with you being a single father. It has to do with the mess that's coming with it. It's up here. You got to work on that. When we start working on this mindset and what I call it mindfulness, being able to sit with yourself, being able to sit and examine and find out, where did these thoughts come from? Who was telling us this? I remember I was working at Holiday Inn. I probably told this story here before. But I remember that these ladies, when I first got married, I was so happy to be married. Oh my God, my first marriage. Let me tell you something. Let me fix that. Because I'm not telling the truth. I was so happy not to be in sin. I know. I'll tell the story later. Because my mom was a pastor, not to be in sin was a very big deal. So I was very, very happy that I was doing the right thing. Marriage itself, I didn't really know what I was in for, but I was happy to be like, hey, I'm married, da da da. And I remember these group of ladies at the time who definitely were going through divorces and not good marriages. And I was 19, okay? I'm over there like, I'm married and my husband do this and my man do that. And they all were just like, wait till you see, very negative, very negative. And I had an opportunity to sit with them every day at lunch or sit away from them. And I remember even then saying, don't sit with them. But sometimes they would still come in my circle and still come around. And I would catch myself going home with a really dark energy when they would sit with me. If my husband would do something or maybe didn't do something that he normally did, and I would be like, yeah, that's what they told me. They told me they were going to start acting like that. Look, see, now I'm dealing with it. So your environment really does dictate your outcomes. And, you bring in that negative spirit, that negative energy, and it's really about who you're around. And the sad truth is, if you got that one yes friend, you're probably never going to move out of that mindset because you're afraid. Here we go. This is for the men. I've seen it. Women, we're okay. I'm gonna be honest. We're better with this than y'all are. We can have a female friend, and we could be ragging y'all dudes. And I'm not a ragger because I love men. Okay, but if we're in a bad mood, but if we get a good one, we out. Okay, we don't hear nothing y'all got to say. We ain't talking to the friend no more. We good. We out. We even get in trouble for this. Okay, but I've seen men. Oh, beautiful woman will come through. Mentally beautiful. I ain't talking about the outward. I'm saying mentally beautiful. But that ego, you don't want to let your boys see you in love because y'all been holding so tight together on this banning about, you and us against the world. And it is hurting you. Because when good women do come, and don't get me wrong, I've seen women do it too. I'm not saying there's no all or nothing. And anything I say, let me just put this out there. Anything you hear Miranda talk about, I am never 100% here and 100% on that side. I never do that. I'm just telling you from my experiences as Miranda J. They could be wrong. They could not make sense to you. I'm just giving you what mine is. But I've seen beautiful women get torn down and not treated very well because of your inability to want to love in front of your boys or to make excuses for loving. And that's something that you should not do. You deserve love. We all deserve kindness and to be able to really be expressing it. And the reason why I can talk so much to that is because I kind of have some of that negative male energy a little bit inside of me where I did not like expressing love to my boyfriends because I definitely hung around a lot more guys, and I felt like my guy friends would tease me when they saw me, falling in love. They were like, Miranda, what's wrong with you? Don't be letting that boy make you stupid out here. And you know what? Make me stupid. Not stupid in the sense where I do dumb things, but in the sense that I kind of let go. Because I definitely hung around a lot more guys, and I felt like my guy friends would tease me when they saw me, falling in love. They were like, Miranda, what's wrong with you? Don't be letting that boy make you stupid out here. And you know what? Make me stupid. Not stupid in the sense where I do dumb things, but in the sense that I kind of let go. And most of us are afraid to let go because we're so caught up in order for me to let go, all these things have to make sense. All these things have to line up. And that won't happen that way. So back to the frog. You're sitting in this comfortable space for how long? How long are you going to sit there before you actually start determining that it's getting hot, or it's getting lonely, or I'm sick, I don't feel well, I want out? Are you literally waiting for the casket to close? Or are you going to go ahead and enjoy everything that's good for you? Is your enjoyment only going to be with the same people for the rest of your life? And when I say the same people, I mean from childhood on up. Who have you met new today? Who have you allowed new to come into your life? Whose new perspective how have you allowed in? Whose new ideas? Whose new way of thinking? Or are you deciding right now that I don't need a new way? I got it. I don't want anything else. I'm rejecting knowledge. I'm rejecting help. Have you made that decision? Some of y'all are way too young for that. Have you still, let me just say it. Are you still blaming everyone else? Is it still the baby daddy's fault? Is it still your mom's fault? Is it still your dad's fault? Your brother's fault? We've all been hurt. But at what point are you just not letting yourself loose? And what will it take to get loose? For me, I like to put myself in environments that cause change, right? So if I'm used to doing something a certain way every time, maybe the next time I go to a different restaurant, or I make myself literally go up to a table, and I know I'm a little much, but talk to somebody new. I like to roam the room a little bit so I can hear different perspectives. And also consider that my perspective is not the only way. I could do this podcast this year and listen to it and say, I could rethink that. Constantly evolving. But I do know one thing for sure. A better house, a better car, or better anything else has zero to do with how you feel about yourself and how you really live your life. Now, that car can give you a little pump, and that house can make the world make you seem like something. But when you lay in your bed at night, or when you're taking that shower, or the time when you get home and you just just don't feel right. Let me tell you, that stuff means nothing. As you age, especially, it just doesn't mean anything. If I could get anything or give anything to my girls, I would say if they could learn these things earlier in life, they would have such a beautiful life and a long, beautiful life. But let me also say this: 40, 50 years old, you're young. You are young. Listen, you have another 30, 40, 50, 60 years. You got 30, 40, 50, 60 years to be doing something better and different. You're not over yet. It's not about where you are right now. It's about what are you willing to do to adjust your mindset to get something new, to start attracting new behavior, new people, right, to you. So now it's time for you to go ahead and let go so you can receive. And in order to do that, you have to self-examine. So listen to the last podcast. Self-examine and put that gratitude in there so that you can get the things that you want out of life. And I think we're at the end of this today. I think we're getting somewhere. And I feel good about it. And I'm smiling from ear to ear because I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy. I've been really practicing being present in the moment. And right now, I'm not thinking about how this podcast will air. I'm not thinking about what I look like. I will say my skin is glowing though, but I'm not thinking about what else I have to do later. I'm being present. And I would like to share that with you guys. I know we're, getting close on time, but if you would just give us just a minute and a half to just do a quiet meditation with me. And you can close your eyes. You can decide if you can pull over in your car, if you can stop for a minute. Just, if you can, just stop. If you're walking on the treadmill, that's fine as well. Just slow it down just a little bit. If you don't, just try to control your breathing. Slow. And I want you to be in this happy place. And what we're going to do is we're just going to be in the present moment. Not going to worry about what we have to do later or what we just said to somebody that might have hurt them. Just going to take the time and wind down, breathe in, breathe out. And just breathe in your positive energy. Breathe out all the negative things that were said or done. And just find peace. In the present moment, I want you to just tell me or tell yourself, what do I hear? Just stop and say, what do I hear? Some of you may hear birds chirping or may hear other people on the treadmill. Or maybe, unfortunately, you're hearing the ringing of the words that someone said negative to you earlier. But we're going to push those negative thoughts out, and we're just going to be very present and try to hear exactly what's around us. Maybe just focusing on my voice is good enough. But just, what do you hear? Maybe you're blessed to be around some water, trees. What do you hear? And once you've absorbed the things that you hear, I want you now to say, what do I feel? Pay attention to your body. Maybe there's a pain in your body and you want to just put your energy there and concentrate on just moving that pain away. Or maybe you just feel really calm. Or maybe you just feel the floor underneath you, just the most present thing. Or maybe you feel wind blowing around you. And you're just sitting there and you're saying, what do I feel? Then after you've absorbed everything that you feel, what do you smell? Is it the outdoors? Maybe it's your own perfume or your own lotion that you put on today. Or maybe you're doing this meditation with your partner and you're smelling them, and maybe you've got their old t-shirt on and it's a comforting smell to you. But you're just being very present. What do I smell? And then from there it is, how do I feel? I feel relaxed. I feel like I'm a winner. I feel like I'm able to accomplish wonderful things. I feel like I'm capable of positive change. I'm just feeling whatever's in my body. So I've taken this moment, you can open your eyes, to decide to be present. Thank you for being present with me. Thank you for joining Miranda J with Logistical Lies, and have a wonderful